You walked into a hospital and you walked out, when you did, a completely different person.
And the pain is so radiant, like I couldn't let anybody even touch me. I went to the bathroom floor and I laid there and I was yelling, begging them to kill me.
What would you recommend to someone that goes into the hospital?
I'm gonna tell you right now, follow your gut.
Follow your
gut. Like, I swear to God, that's what you have to do.
Imagine losing insurance, your job, your security, your manlyhood. The worst part about all of this is that there's no accountability. He walked into the hospital and he walked out totally different. And it's like, okay, well, that happened. Adios. But there is going to be some kind of light at the end of this tunnel. Welcome to Dear Heather. I am with AJ. He has been on this podcast before. I'm bringing him back on because I don't think that the first time we chatted, we really got to, I want to say, zoning into the impact it's made to your life and what you've been through. And I said something to you when I met you, and I mean it, even though this has been taking way longer than both of us have expected. And this is the world. You know, things don't always happen as we want it to. But you've been patient, so thank you. I know you've been through a lot of pain. And you're coming back on here. You're vulnerable. I want to say I commend you for that. You've been through a lot. Your life has changed, I want to say, in less than 1 year. It has completely switched upside down. And what I want to do different about this time, you and I talking, is to really dial in to the 3 stages. You walked into a hospital and you walked out, when you did, let's say after everything that's happened, once all of that was done, a completely different person. Not only on top of that, your body, physical, emotional, some things have happened with your job. So imagine losing insurance, your job, your security, your manlyhood. And then what that could mentally do to you and how I would say, abandoned by the people that were supposed to be there for you the most, not talking family or anything like that, but we're talking about hospital care, career care, people that you've worked with. And then I want to end this chat with where that's left you, where you are today, raw, vulnerable, as much as you want to share, and you don't have to share anything you don't want to. But I promised you something. And I said that this story means something to me, and I'm not going to let it go until we get it somewhere. And I'm telling you, I'm not letting this go until we get it somewhere. It may take a little bit longer, but there is going to be some kind of light at the end of this tunnel. So I want to thank you, first of all. All right, let's get into it. AJ, I want to welcome you to the audience. Let's just hop in with where it all started, with you walking into – were you walking into the hospital with the routine procedure, or was it a doctor's office? The hospital, right?
Yeah, so I originally I had to go to the doctor to go see the gastrointestinal surgeon. And when I went to his office, that's when this whole insurance debacle thing happened. When I found out, like, my work canceled my insurance because I went on emergency medical leave, and they had to figure out a way to still make the surgery happen one way or another, because it was supposed to be routine, right? Like, it was just a colonoscopy to remove the diverticulitis, to get the diverticuli cleaned out. And then
And is that a typical procedure? Like, do you know a lot of people? Because when
you know what's crazy is I have a couple buddies from back home in the Chicago area that what's so weird is one of my near and dear best friends, his name's Steve. and it's the wildest story. I met him working at Verizon. And within the matter of like the first 3 months of working for this guy, he went through something almost wildly identical to me.
We didn't cover this last time.
Yeah. So after I did the first podcast with you, Steve watched it, him and his wife Maggie. And he called me. He goes, "Dude, are you kidding me?" I go, because I remember going and visiting Steve in the hospital, and he was intubated in a coma as well because he had diverticulitis, and his intestines ruptured, but his wasn't due to the
What
hospital.
they had told you to do.
Right.
Okay.
Like his wasn't like, here, drink this. You're not supposed to do that. His was due because this just happened. So he went through a very similar path where he's hospitalized 5-6 months. He had to really learn how to walk, talk, eat, drink, go to the bathroom, do all of it again. Because I'll never forget when Steve had his ostomy bag. You know, his first time out in public, I took him to a Cannibal Corpse concert at the House of Blues in Chicago.
Oh, that's a first time out after. Okay, that's one way to go.
We went and seen Cannibal Corpse at Vale of Maya. It was very interesting.
I would imagine it's probably interesting for him stepping out of like being down for so long.
He handled it way better than I did.
Okay.
Way better. Because for him, he, you know, and he did a really cool thing too, because he always looked at, like, for some reason, his level of optimism was incredible.
That is the most powerful thing.
Yeah, and he was like, dude, he's like, I got an ostomy bag. I'm like, well, okay. He's like, they can't tell me I can't go outside and smoke. He's like, I can come in and out when I want to. I'll just tell me I have to go change my bag. And I'm like,
going through the airport, can't take liquids on,
yeah.
not today.
Right. So instead of Steve being, you know, very victim mentality and just being afraid of going out, he was like, yes, dude. He's like, let's go do this thing.
I love that because that sends a signal throughout your body of like, we're not letting this take us down.
Right. And he was a gangster about it, like totally. And
that actually sounds pretty gangster.
Yeah, and we did. We totally sat through like this. We sat through Cannibal Corpse and Vale Mile. Like we watched the entire show.
Wow.
And then we left and we hit a couple bars and then went back home. Like it was crazy. And didn't skip a beat. Like you would never know that Steve went through all this. Where his physical capability was super different than mine.
And is that like a normal outcome of when your intestines explode, that you go through that part of relearning to walk? Or is that just when you get septic? Or
I honestly, like, to be honest with you, like he's the only other guy I know that went through like a real similar path. Like I haven't talked to too many people this has happened to, because here's the deal. Anybody I talk to about the whole sepsis thing, they have a tragedy to speak to. I would say about 99% of the people I've talked to about it, they're like, yeah, I knew a guy that had sepsis and he died.
Okay.
You don't hear a whole lot of people that's had it and has survived it.
Like to the course of where you guys were at. Because I've heard of some people that are prone to getting blood infections and then they go in and it's devastating just that little bit when it first starts happening. So.
Right. So let alone me, like I went through it twice. I died from it 2 times and somehow survived it, and then died the 3rd time from bleeding out because the ulcer ruptured, and I ended up going to cardiac arrest, and I died again. And so
it's amazing you're here. I can't get that. All right, because I'm going to go. I am guilty of this. I know. I'm trying to get better. I say wow a lot. I do these things where I'm like, huh. But okay. I go on tangents. I want to lock us back into, you went into get a routine procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through all the things that happen thereafter.
So my perspective is this. I go in for a colonoscopy to get a diverticuli removed, right? I wake up several weeks later. Think about that. Think about that. Like going to sleep. I mean, I freak out when I take a nap an hour longer than I'm supposed to, and I'm like all disoriented. Yeah, right. It's like you just woke up from taking a Benadryl. Like you're like, what is happening?
Yeah. So how do you feel after being asleep for that long? It's like a bear in like their own hibernation.
I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. The only thing I can say is like it's wildly confusing.
Like it's a time warp almost. I would feel.
Right.
Yeah. Like
I went in to go home the same day, basically, right? And next thing you know, I'm laying on a hospital floor begging for death because I'm in this biblical, unsurmountable amount of pain that I can't tell you how it feels.
And you go to the hospital. I remember being so like at home one time and I was in so much pain. And I just wanted to go to the hospital to get that relief. I don't know what I would have done if I went to the hospital and that pain triples exponentially or whatever. What do you do?
To explain the pain to people, you know, the original nurse's name is Jake, and I think I mentioned him on the first time too. He told me it's the male equivalent of birthing twins is the best way he could explain the pain, like in relation to.
Okay.
So what happens is when your intestines swell, even if it's by like a millimeter, your body recognizes that they're growing in a direction they're not supposed to.
Okay.
And the pain is so radiant, like I couldn't let anybody even touch me. Otherwise, like if they touched me, I was out for blood. Like it made me so angry because I couldn't handle it.
I just can't imagine that state. Because every time I'm in pain, I really try to like focus in on where that pain is. And when it's so bad, so like taking over your body, I just don't know what do you do? Where do you escape to? You can't escape it.
I went to the bathroom floor and I laid there and I was yelling to kill him. I was begging him to kill me. Like that's really was, and I mean, I've been through the ringer with pain too, but this doesn't compare to nothing. I've been hit in the head with broomsticks, bricks, dollar rods, you name it. Like I've been hit by golf clubs,
yeah,
baseball
it's not
bats.
like you're here saying, you know, I got a paper cut
No,
and it hurts.
Not at all.
Why did your intestines burst?
Because the hospital totally gave me a bowel prep they weren't supposed to.
Bingo.
And it was on the medical orders to not give it to me.
What would you recommend to someone that goes into the hospital? Because when we talked about this the first time, it seemed like it was almost mandatory, or they were very just stern on you doing this part of the treatment, that you were very vocal and your sister were very vocal about saying, I don't want that treatment.
I'm going to tell you right now, follow your gut.
Follow your
gut. Like, I swear to God, that's what you have to do. And my natural intuition told me I am not supposed to drink this. But then the way they position it, like they make you feel like you're rendered useless and hopeless completely.
Or you don't want to help yourself, we're not going to help you.
Right.
We know better. You're here. We have other things to do. And I'm not knocking anybody, because with every story, I want to emphasize there are layers of what could have gone wrong. Unfortunately, you went to a hospital that was probably understaffed, ill-prepared for what didn't have time. There's an abundant amount of reasons that could have led, but you're here and you're alive. And so I think that there is a purpose of why you went through this, and you're here to talk about it. There has to be. There has to be. You don't just go through that and then
one would really think so.
And we're not even there. Okay, so you're in, because let's really paint a picture for those that haven't watched the first episode of, now you're on the floor, you took this drink that you really, in your whole being told you, do not do this. Then you're on the floor, you're begging for death. Then what happens?
I wake up several weeks later.
Again. Or wait, no, this was the first.
Yeah,
okay.
That's when it all happened. And then you wake up several weeks later, and from there until I got home, like I can't really even speak to that. I can tell you what happens like when you get home. Yeah,
I really want to walk through what you experienced, not from everybody else's version of like what you were going through. Like, what were you fuzzy? Like, were you like, what the heck? Where's my life gonna go? Or were you just blur until the next set of pain and situation came up?
You internally beg for normalcy.
Just counting down the time.
Yeah, that's it. Right. You don't care what's around you. You don't care what's on the TV. You don't care what's happening. You just want it to be over. And you just want to go home. You want to get your life back. You don't want to lose any more time. And
you're just ready to be back to normal.
Right.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. I'm going to talk from just a totally human level because people that haven't gone through these extremes, I think a good way to relate is, and if you don't drink, sorry, it's a bad relation or whatever that word is. When you're hungover, I remember being so hungover and the feeling of just, I want this to stop and you don't know when it's going to stop. And that's just a blip. I knew eventually I'd get over that hour of torture, that 2 hours of torture. But we're talking about something that you have no unknown. It's nothing that you've ventured there before. And every day that you wake up, go to sleep, and then wake up again, you're stuck in this kind of like circular motion of you have to be your biggest advocate at that time because I can imagine it'd be so easy just to want to give up.
Yeah, it's real easy to do that. And I went, I went through that mental state of mind for sure. I mean, I think the toughest thing for me is I was totally afraid to eat. I didn't want to eat food again at all. I was like, that's had to have been what caused this, because nobody knows what causes it. But I just assume it's food, and I'm like, I don't want to eat ever again. And so I go on this hunger strike for like 7 or 10 days or something like that.
Just based out of fear.
Yeah. And,
Are you doing like smoothies, fluids?
I think I was just being pumped full of fluids to the point where like between like all the narcotics they had me on, like all this stuff, like it's so hard for me to...
You're surviving.
Yeah, and it's so hard for me to talk about it because I don't know. So when I tell people I really don't know what happened in that time frame from August until November when I get home, I don't know that window.
This is good. This is what I want because people that have been in your situation can relate to this. This is the thing. I want to get the viewpoint of what you, AJ, have been through.
You lose this huge gap of time and you get back out of it and like you get a window of hope, right? Because you start getting your feeling back, you start getting your mental state back on track. And again, you say, right, like you're back here for a purpose. You've been through all this and there's got to be some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, right? And here we sit going in to June and it's been real frustrating, right?
Tell me about like what just day-to-day frustrations or hardships that you have now.
So my life is nothing what it was before. Like, yeah, I have some friends still, right? I got my group of buddies and everything's
But your lifestyle's
cool.
Different,
Lifestyle's
probably.
way different.
Not by choice.
Right. It's way different. And I'm a pretty social person by design, right? Like my work's always considered me to have to be social, being in sales, business development, being a director, helping train people, onboard people, do all that stuff. You have to be social. And now I'm social to a distance.
You're probably putting barrier.
Yeah, I don't want to have my mental health stuff that I'm dealing with rub off on anybody else. It's hard enough for me to walk through my house when your family looks at you with pity because they know you're in a predicament not due to your own fault. Like, it'd be wildly different if this happened because, like, I was on drugs and I had to go through recovery and I screwed up my entire life.
Yeah.
You know?
Even then, though, there's a place for...
Right. A lot of the guys I know that went through recovery, like, they're doing great.
Yeah.
For instance, my best friend in the whole world, Justin, this dude is an awesome story, right? Guy goes through years of rehabilitation through AA and all this, and he's flourishing now. And I couldn't be more happy for a human being in my entire life.
Yeah, if you're a good person, you want everybody around you to have a good life. There is no competition. There's no competition. You want to live the happiest life with people happy with you.
Right. And it's like I don't want to get back to that. I need to get back to that. And I'm fighting every single day for it. But I'm at a point now where, like, I am so tired of fighting. Like, I'm tired. Like, I'm exhausted from it. And, I sit at home and, I go, I'm working right now, but it's pretty much just driving in my truck everywhere. And it's driving me crazy because I don't feel like I'm making any forward progress.
It sounds like you're in a place of existence, kind of in stagnation, not knowing, like, where do you go?
I have a job, I don't have a career right now, and I need to get back into a career, and that's been my sole focus. Like, my mental health can take a total backseat for me right now because I'm good at maneuvering around that
Men
stuff.
do compartmentalize when it comes to structurally, that's what you're there for.
Right. I would say
to
that word, but I'm
provide.
terrible at saying that word.
I know, so I'm like, yes, I did it.
You nailed it, right? So that's been really my sole focus. And like, don't get me wrong, like I go through my moments, right?
I think we all do as
Where
humans,
the
but
frustration kind of capsizes, and I try and bury it as much as I can. Before I used to get like I didn't care if I got angry. Now it's like I gotta take a breath. Like I'm not trying to snap on people. When I feel like that,
wow.
I just sit in my theater room and I hide.
I feel that on so many levels. I can't imagine what it would be like on your level to go through that. I want to go back to that feeling that you were talking about and I think a lot of people can relate to this. I can for my own reasons, but of just having, how do I explain this? Walking through life knowing that people are looking at you like you might need help, but you're strong, you've gotten here. So it's
Right.
like you want your independence, but you also don't need to be completely independent where you're like left to the wolves. But I feel like you would reach out if you need something. I guess that's like the hardest thing with people that have been through like trauma or anything else. Like you feel like you're always looked at as like a wounded person.
And that's for sure like how I feel right now, right? I feel like a wounded duck. And I'm just trying to get it fixed. And you got to have insurance to get certain things fixed. And what I'm doing for work right now offers it, but it's like $500 a month, and I can't afford that right now.
Okay.
So I'm rolling around here with no health insurance right now. I've missed 2 of my doctor's appointments because I got kicked off of Access again.
This is so relatable right now. Everybody, but again, this is nothing that this could have been avoided, but this is nothing that, again, you took the wrong pathway in life and it ended you up here. You went into the hospital, and I still want to get back. I just want to do a real quick run through of everything that your body has gone through, and then let's dive into the financial kind of devastation that this has left you and how you got there because your work kind of took its own avenue with this whole situation that is respectfully awful. My perspective only, but let's go into just your body. Like what physically you're in pain, but what all did you go through during this time?
The best way for me to explain it is I ended up going through dialysis because the hospital overdosed me on blood pressure medication, and they shut down all my vital organs. So I had to go through dialysis. My kidney function, liver function, all that stuff was at 0. Shockingly, somehow, all my stuff comes back after 6 or 7 weeks of dialysis, like probably stronger than it was before I even went in there.
Right.
So,
yes.
But in lieu of that, it affected my central nervous system. So now I have this crazy nerve damage throughout my leg that's just radiating all the time. Like even right now, like from my thigh.
I can see you're kind of scooching.
Yeah.
So does it like get locked in or like
it's
just
like
sore?
a radiating fire pain. Like it's like, it almost feels like you're being shocked. It's like you stuck your finger in a 120 and it's like.
And that's always.
Yeah. And then I have neuropathy in my toes now, which never had any of this stuff before I went to the hospital. My back hurts all the time, let alone the strange thing of all of it is my tailbone. My stupid tailbone hurts consistently. Like if I'm in the car for more than half an hour, or if I'm sitting down for more than like a half an hour, 45 minutes, my tailbone starts. I have no idea.
I wonder if that like adjusted like your.
Well, it's probably from laying on my back for 5.5 months, 6 months straight.
Also, if I've realized because I've had knee surgery and because of that years later, my hips started to displace.
Yeah.
And so that's causing different problems within my body. I wonder if it kind of shifted.
I'm sure something's happened because this stuff didn't exist before all this happened. I was fine. And
the worst part about all of this, because no one even knows this, is that there's no accountability he walked into the hospital and he walked out totally different. And it's like, okay, well, that happened. Adios. Bye. Even though we're supposed to be the ones that help you. I can't get over that this is the society that we live in where people are just left with nowhere to go, no one to answer to a life that they changed. And it's okay if there were mistakes, they're okay, but there's ways to do the right thing financially, just all the things that you can do to show up for a person. And they can never give you back what they took. That's the thing. You're not asking for your life back, but you are asking for a little bit of grace to get back to at least somewhat of where you were. And that's what's frustrating to me.
Just 1%. I ain't even asking for the farm, just a little window.
Just something.
Yeah, and I don't need anybody to give it to me. Like, I've been working for it for myself. But it's just like anytime I finally see light at the end of the tunnel, like, I don't know why my world is being still challenged to this day. But anytime I get some kind of glimpse of hope, it backfires.
Do you have a subconscious thought that it's gonna backfire?
No.
You're you're really excited and it happens. It's just, man, your journey's gonna find you. I'm telling you.
So after the first 2 times that it happened, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna quit getting excited about any of this until something materializes.
It sounds like my dating life.
Yeah, yeah. I do not.
Like, I am just going to stay in one lane until someone just shows the freak up. But yes, I get it.
I'm in the same exact position.
I get you.
Same position. Where that whole side of my life, I don't even want to get into it right now. But
yeah, one step at a time. You still got to figure your life out, okay?
Right. I don't have the capacity to do that right now.
No one should expect you to have that capacity. Not even yourself.
And that's a challenge, and it's like I just don't got it in me at the moment. My sole focus really is just getting my career back on path, and because that's my way of normalcy.
Yeah, you need some kind of
like other people. They're like, I want to be able to run, jump, do whatever again. No, I don't care about that. I'll be fine. I went through my athletic years. Like, I'm okay. Like, once I can afford to go to the gym again, I'll get back to a gym and go through my therapy and stuff I need to. But
you need to get the core foundation so you can start stacking your life back up.
Right.
It's almost like you are starting straight from the start because financially.
I feel like I'm 18 again, graduating high school, and like now it's time to be an adult and you got to find an adult job again.
And it's not even like, I want to say like you can rebuild this and it can be the best thing, and it can, trust me, but then I feel so kind of not selfish, not stupid, but I feel there's a hesitation to say that because I'm saying that and your body's not the same. So it's not like you can just be like, oh, it's going to be greater than ever before because you're not even 100% of what you were before. And so I want to be very mindful that I'm not under currenting what you're going through.
So I'm a huge concert junkie. I go to concerts all the time, right? So this past Thursday, I went to a show at the Nile Theater for the first time since I've been out of the hospital.
Is that at the casino?
No, it's Nile's downtown Mesa, Maine.
Oh, okay.
So I go to a show, and we go see the Bouncing Souls in H2O. And I'm standing like I should be. And then like the leg is starting to hurt, the feet are starting to hurt. And then the security guard looks at me and he's like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, I got this neuropathy thing. He's like, dude, come with me to the ADA section. And I'm just like.
ADA section?
Yeah, the disability section.
Okay, what does ADA stand for?
I think it means American Disability Act or something like that. And so I'm like, oh, awesome.
You're not going to experience your experience
so now that way. Like, it's got its advantages. Like, you're always closer to the stages and stuff. But, like, at the same time, like.
You're kind of put.
I'm not positioned where I normally am, because now I have to go somewhere else in order to be comfortable to enjoy the things that I like.
I think you can unlock something here, though, because that's such an easy thing for people to implement, like concerts and venues, to be mindful of that, of placements for even, because you do have a disability now, right?
Yeah.
Like
And
you are not
so,
fully functioning the way you
right.
were.
So here's the real crazy part about that is I would say about 80% of the people that end up in the ADA sections don't need to be there. They know
Mm.
that it's kind of like a cheat code, right? You can get pretty much front seat tickets without having to pay for it. And so it's one of those things like when you're
Hmm.
in it, it's cool. Like you get a better view than most. But then, and
Yeah.
I think that people have known about this. So when you're sitting there and you're trying to be comfortable, next thing you know, like you got perfectly healthy people surrounding you. And I can't stand up and see over these people half the time because my feet hurt so bad. So like Thursday, like there was definitely a moment where I was just defeated. And I walked out because the Nile has a coffee shop right next to their main stage area. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got somebody crawling behind me. I got a kid kicking me in the side. Somebody just stepped on both of my feet.
I
And I'm like,
want,
normally I could grab somebody and physically move them and like not be scared of anything. Because this time last year, I could totally handle my own battles. Like
yeah.
I was not afraid of anything. But this time, it was wildly humiliating because I can't stand up and be like, listen, dude, you better move. It's like, you could push me. I'm going to fall over because my balance sucks right now, you know?
I'm hearing like that it almost kind of takes away the masculinity. I couldn't imagine like my femininity being taken away. And that could be not being able to wear heels. Like it could be anything. But I love
Right.
this conversation because it's those things I believe we've all probably have tried to cheat our way into those areas or anything else. And
Yeah. Like, if I'd have known this when I was healthy, I for
yes,
sure would have taken advantage of
this is why I
this.
like talking about this stuff,
Yeah. Like,
though,
I'm not even going
because
to joke around about it. I've even told my friends, like, you need to go to shows with me now because, like, I'm a cheat code. Like, we get the best seats ever because of this.
right, okay, so well, there's a small advantage there.
Yeah. But then you
But
find out that the masses of the people that are in there don't need to be in there. And so, and it's crazy because you'll see other people come in with wheelchairs, walkers, stuff like that. And they're super healthy people. I know they're healthy. Like you can tell when somebody's like living
yeah,
in pain. Like now
yeah.
that I'm in it, you can see it in someone's face when it's hitting them. And they won't even get up. They won't move. Like they'll make people just sit there behind them. And I'm like, it's disgusting.
I do agree. I mean, I'm in like I try to not judge, but there are things like just there's a knowing sometimes about things.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
And the way HIPAA law is set up, like you can't ask, yeah, you
No.
can't be like, oh, you're not hurt. You
Oh
better
my
get out of
gosh,
here.
no. There are like things on TikTok that's going, well, not even TikTok, YouTube of like you can't even there's some sensitive spots there. You just don't
For
legally
sure.
can't do that.
Right, for
Yeah.
sure. So like it kind of takes away from just my normalcy.
Well, okay. I actually thank you for bringing that back up because I want to paint a picture again because I'm trying to really relate what this would mean to a person that has a normal life. And yeah, we can hear stories, but what does that really mean day to day? We often miss that part. And for me, it would, because I've had to do this with anxiety, I wish all venues, restaurants, or whatnot would have cameras so I can check in to see the kind of people that are there, the kind, you know what I mean? I need to know what's going on
Right.
there before I go in there because I have such bad anxiety at times.
I always said like venues should always have like an isolation booth or something like that.
That's a great
Where
idea.
when people get, socially overstimulated,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to lose out, like just somewhere where they can go,
Yeah, you want to be a part, but
yeah, just to kind of center yourself again, right?
that AJ, that is so good because I'm the biggest extrovert introvert. I want to be around the energy, but I want my space respected.
Right.
And that's all. That is such a brilliant idea.
Right.
Okay, I love that. I think
And
that there's some.
it just sucks because, you go to the section, it's cool and all that, but then you get this internal feeling of defeat when you can't control the environment around you because you can't just go be part of the masses like normal all the time.
And you're probably comparing it to the feeling that you had when you used to do that. So it's
Right.
like that you're missing out on the level of experience and with
Right.
the joy it used to bring to you.
Now, I will give wild credit to the staff at the Nile Theater. Wild credit.
Really?
Yeah, big time. So I didn't get to
I love
exchange
that.
names. I didn't get to exchange names with the security guard. So him and I had some real good banter going on because I'm super friendly to everybody. I'm super cool.
Yeah, you
I
seem
can
like
relate to
very
people like
upbeat.
that pretty quick, right? So dude looks out in the coffee shop and he sees me. I got my head in my hands and I'm just like frustrated. And he comes out. He's like, "What's going on, man?" I'm like, "Dude, I got this kid kicking me. This other dude that's some giant ogre is stepping on my feet." And I'm like, "I told you about the neuropathy thing." And he's like, "Come with me." And dude begs me to go back to the concert and kicks a bunch of people off the seats. And he's like, "You guys need to move." And he goes, "You sit there." And
This is what I'm talking about, the kind of people that are my people.
yeah,
They do the right thing, even though it might not be the easiest, thing to do, but they care.
right. And I'll tell you what, if that guy watches this, he for sure will know who he is.
We'll tag them because I
He was
love.
it was a very cool experience. And I'm going back there on June 8th for another show, and I'm really hoping that dude's working again.
We'll have to give a shout out. If you find, you have to text me his name. We're giving you a shout out. You're badass.
Yeah, dude
That's how men should be.
and that's exactly how he handled it. Because he could see it in my face. He's like, "Dude, you're not gonna miss the show." And it's like you don't get to see those certain bands don't travel through Arizona very often.
See, I don't know much about like that whole lifestyle. So the
Right.
passion, I can see it. I can see
Right.
it.
And it's like the show on June 8th. Again, it's a band that maybe every 10 years, something like that, you get a chance to go see them. And so, like, in the back of my head, I'm like super pumped to go to the show, but it's like, man, I really hope I don't have to deal with some craziness again.
Yeah. Well, like I was thinking back to the anxiety that I face. I could only imagine what you would go through just even thinking like I have to go to the store, I have to do this, I have to do that. What is that going to look like? Is my leg going to start going numb or too much pain? What is that going to mean? Am I going to take my groceries back in? I don't know if that's all that.
Hey, shout out to
But-
Fry's for pickup. Like, that's been great for me.
Okay, well
I do
there
all my
you go.
grocery shopping now through my app, and I just pull the side of the store, and they bring it out and put it in the truck.
Do they have like a disability part? They should. They should offer free delivery and free to
Well, you get
disability.
free pickup. I think with the disability thing, I don't know how that works quite
Well,
yet.
they need to figure that out.
Once I get my insurance back, I don't know how that's going to go. Like, maybe I'll get the special tag in my car so that way I get better parking.
Definitely, I think you will. I do. And
Which is, the one thing I tell myself on a daily basis is not to baby myself.
but care for yourself.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
just tell myself, like, I went through a phase where with the neuropathy, you have to be very tactful when you're walking. Because if you like go through gravel or, like the braille spots on like the sidewalks and stuff, you feel every single piece of that. It's
Really?
like, yeah, it's like having a bad suspension in your car where you feel
Is
like
it just
every
like-
bump and all that.
Okay. Well,
And it
what does
feels
that
like
feel like?
needles. It feels like needles and like burning pain that go through your feet all the time.
see, for me, I'm a visual and a feeler. Like I need to really figure out what that feels like. I mean, I'm
The best
not
way for me
looking
to explain
pain,
it is
but-
like you can tell when it hits me because I'll start laughing. I'll be like, that sucked.
and just like a
Yeah, it's like a jolt of pain, right? And
I wonder if it's something like, when you're walking outside without shoes, which I do all the time, and you step on like a really sharp object,
yeah,
but it's probably like that, but more in your,
right. It's like that, but like a permanent feeling.
oh gosh.
So like even
Okay.
sitting here, like I constantly am wiggling my toes trying to get the circulation going.
Does it take time to get back up and like start walking?
Oh yeah. It's like a steam engine, right? Like slow moving,
Yeah.
slow moving, and then finally it starts picking.
Oh my God. I've done that with my knee before, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm 40 and I'm like struggling to get like walk right now.
Yeah, that's
You feel old. Like,
and that's the other side of it too. Is like I'm not getting any younger. Like I'm 42, right?
yeah, our bodies aren't reversing.
Right. So
Yeah.
now I have to go through this whole phase where I got to hang on to whatever youth I have because that's my only saving grace to getting better.
You seem really, I know you've been struggling and things have been hitting you kind of sideways recently. Where are you at right now? Like, where do you see yourself? What is happy to you? I know that realistically, though,
That's
okay, we're going to
actually
get
a
you
really great question.
the career. Like, imagine you know you're not going to get your whole body back. You know all this. There are things that you can do to, working out and maybe finding some kind of other pain plan, something like that. But at the core, I know the career, because you got to survive. This has left you financially in the dumps. Was it $700,000, $900,000?
900 and change, yeah.
$900,000 and change. You had to give up your truck because your work bailed out on you. The hospital left you subhuman physically. And so what does that look like? What is the light at the end of the tunnel for you?
Getting back into a career path. Like that's the only thing that's going to bring me something. That way I can use work as a healthy distraction.
To get you maybe like the normalcy, and then that's the first step to then start working on body,
then
mind,
I can get
spirit.
back to exactly, the body, mind, and spirit, right? Because once I'm back to work, gives me a purpose, right? And getting back into a career path is something that I'm passionate about and that I can totally realign with, right? Which I've been in business development for a long time and sales and all that stuff and management. And I've gotten about as close as it can come to the point where I've had job offers sent to me over the past 2 months. And within me getting ready to accept it, they've been getting pulled right back out of the table from me. And it is the craziest thing in the world.
So I feel like you're being tested. Sometimes when things like keep happening, I'm like, what am I supposed to learn here?
And it's gotten so far to the finish line where I've known people that work within the four walls of the company I'm getting ready to get into, where the owner of the companies went up to these people I know and had been like, hey, your guy's coming on board. We're sending him an offer. And then you go and hang out with this person 2 days later and they're like, hey, I heard you got put on the team. And I'm like, nope. I'm like, they sent me an email and decided to go with somebody else at the very last minute, apparently. So, and there's no hard feelings there because obviously it's not meant to be.
Right, but I could see where it's just like how many hits do you take, and sometimes
it's very demoralizing.
Let's just put it out there. What do you do? You're in sales because this is our platform. We are here to help you because I have a request to the audience that I'm going to ask from me for you, just something that I feel passionate about. What do you do? What do you want to do? You're in sales. What's
my background? My background really, it's a mix of. It's all been commercial driven sales, and really for the last 7 years, I've been a business development manager and director for commercial properties. For electrical, doing commercial warehousing and stuff like that. And really, it's relationship based. So what you're doing is you're going out and you're positioning your company and yourself, and you're building a clientele and you're building a pipeline and you're finding projects that can be worked on, stuff that's not so transactional, right? You want to build these long-term relationships where they flourish. And, these people become your friends throughout this process. And I'm just trying to get back to the point where I can get back into that field, whether it's commercial electric, doing TIs, restoration, any of that stuff. So I can re-alive my relationships that I've made throughout the years.
I love that. Re-alive the relationships that you've made.
There's a lot of people out there that I've lost contact with because I haven't had a reason to be in contact with them.
You need your community back. That's going to stabilize. And once you have the right people, that's when the right opportunities start coming in. And I have no doubt, I really do feel this for you. And the journey is never easy. The best stories usually have the hardest journeys and the worst stories. But like I said, I'm not giving up on this. I think we gotta get you back. We gotta do the things that the hospital's not gonna do. We're gonna get you back to where you were. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to look for different solutions, even though it's not fair.
Right.
I think it would be wise to have your sister on next time, or your mom, because it gives us different angles. I
would say my sister for sure. I
yes.
would say no to my mom just because of the emotional side of it
Yeah.
that it's taken on her.
I can understand that.
And I don't know if there's enough
It's like
time
retrenching.
in the day for you to sit down and try and get it out of her.
Okay.
Like, to be
Although
perfectly
sometimes
honest
that's
with
the
you.
most endearing. You know what? We'll leave that to when, because again, I'm going to ask the audience. We still have time, so I'm just going to go with what I'm feeling. I would like for a bigger, what do we want to call it? Not even production, but like the news station. I'd like a bigger network to take this on because, one, I think a lot of people are going through this. Obviously, in the news, there's been a lot of polarity with what's going on with treatment and people,
Right.
and kind of these higher power people getting away with not being accountable for the things that I've done, and even your insurance and your job and all these other things. I think this is where we together can stand and put it out there and be the solution. Because they're not going to do it.
Right.
We're shown that they're not going to do it. So my question to you, if you know anybody in the news, entertainment arena, I know some people on my Instagram, there are some that I know way back in my advertising days that work at a station. So if you can pass along any sort of word or get back to me on how we get the story further out there. There's a lot to it. You can see that there's layers. We have another video on YouTube that you can check out that gives more of the medical history because AJ can't remember a lot of the things that he went through. If we're going to do this ourselves, this needs to be passed around. You guys need to just imagine if it was you, which the odds are very small. Chances are you're going to know somebody that knows somebody that has been completely just dumped by the system when it's not supposed to be like that. And are we just going to sit around and let this happen, or are we going to actually do something? And I'm going to keep coming back on here with AJ and his family until we get some kind of something going for this. And we have all the time. We don't have all the time in the world. I like to think that we have all the time in the world.
No, I do not.
Yeah, but let's get this going, you guys. Again, just word of mouth. If you even know, if you can't even connect to this story, but you know somebody that's been treated poorly or kind of just left out by the people that were supposed to protect you, like this is your time to step up and do something about it. It's one thing. It takes 1 minute. That's literally all it takes. There's so many people. That adds up. AJ, if you can leave the audience with one thing about what you've realized about yourself and the strength that I would imagine you have to see inside yourself, you've got to understand that your soul just keeps coming up. Like during that whole time that you were in a coma, your soul never once said, okay, adios. It was, I'm not going around. I'm not leaving this world yet. So what do you got?
Find inspiration in something. You got to have something to believe in one way or another.
Amen to that.
And mine's weird, but for real, like I find all my inspiration I do on a religious basis now. I get it from the Rocky movies.
Really?
Like,
I love this. I love that
real.
you are so transparent and as quirky as it is because it's those little things.
Yeah. Like I've been religiously, like I'll sit there on my computer and send out my resume and I keep reworking it until somebody finally gets a hold of me and then yada, yada, yada. But while I'm doing it, like in the background, I have Rocky playing constantly.
I love that though. It's the little things. It could be a song. It could be
Right.
I guess okay. Now every time that I hear that,
And
and
it's the most pinnacle of motivation just throughout all that movie series. Like everything's motivational about it.
that
Every
is true.
single
It's all
thing's-
very uplifting.
Right.
Hoorah! Like back yourself up.
Right.
Like
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like he says, the hardest thing that's going to ever punch you in the face is going to be life. And holy smokes. It is the absolute honest to God's truth. And I mean, you're talking to a guy I've been through it, right? When it comes to being hit in the face.
yeah, you're talking about pain versus
pain versus reality.
yeah,
Because at least
change in reality.
Pain goes away.
Exactly. We're talking about new life.
Yeah, and that's definitely where I'm at right now. And I mean, I could lay down and be a victim, right? I could just play the victim role and
I would be like, I don't even want to work anymore. Screw all
Yeah,
of
and-
you. You guys
right.
left me to die. I'm gonna, I don't know, move to the beach or something.
And don't
But
get me wrong, I go through my ups and my downs, but I try and be more up than down. I keep telling myself every day I have to be bigger than the situation in front of me.
wow, that's hard to do.
It's very hard.
It's so hard to do because
Right.
you're also going off of fumes and you don't see that light. So I would imagine it's hard to see your motivation and your passion.
It's challenging.
Like you really gotta bolster yourself up and
Right.
be your biggest like fan.
Right.
And so, well, I commend you on being here again. I got the date wrong, you guys. So he had to like hurry up and get here. But that's my life. I can't keep my life in. But he showed up, and I want to say thank you again for just being vulnerable.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, we're gonna keep doing this. So keep me in the loop with what's going on. I'll talk to your sister.
Cool.
Tabitha. Happy birthday, Tabitha. Woo woo.
Yep, happy birthday.
And
She
thank you.
celebrated in California. Good for
Oh,
her.
I thought she was in Vegas.
Maybe. It's
Maybe she's
Tabitha.
all Tabitha could be both places at
She'd
once,
be
knowing
Vegas,
her.
Mexico, California. I have no idea half the time.
Oh, geez, I love it. Okay, thank you all. Please, again, like, share, subscribe. You don't even have to subscribe. You don't even have to like. Just share it with somebody. That's all I'm asking. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.